Days about this time, Sheree Clark comes over from Fork in the Road. She spices things up a little bit.
Yeah.
But this morning, she's going to spice things up a lot.
Uh-oh.
So apparently spices are more than just salt and pepper.
They are more than salt and pepper, and it sounds like you guys need them. I sense some congestion and things over here, so
I don't know what you're talking about.
We're pretty close, so once one person gets it, they all three of us
well,
get
I'm
it.
staying the heck over here.
It's like the emphysema ward over here.
All right, so what do you have that could cure our ills?
Well, you know I'm all about healthy eating, and the thing about healthy eating with a lot of people is they're like, yeah, I know it's good for you, but it tastes like crack, so crap. So we don't want that. So what we want to do is we want to talk about what wonderful things you can do using spices. And the thing about spices is a lot of people either misuse them or just don't know about it. So I'm here to give you a quick 101 crash course on spices.
Okay.
Before I talk to you about what I brought in, I want you to sample. I brought something fabulous for you. It's a tea. I started with a base of some homemade coconut milk. I could have used almond milk as well.
Oh, that's great.
Isn't that awesome? So the ingredients that are in here, I have lined up right in front of me. I've got turmeric, a little bit of cinnamon. We've got some pepper with cayenne in it.
That's what I'm tasting. I'm like, there's something hit in the back of my throat.
And a tiny little bit of ginger powder. That's what the spices are that are in your tea. And the recipe's really, really simple. And just, it's so easy to put together and make, and then you just heat it up, and it's just satisfying.
Now, how did you say it?
Wonderful.
Turmeric? Is that how you say it?
I say turmeric. Some people drop the R and say turmeric. You know, I can be convinced if somebody tells me I'm wrong, I'll switch it up.
And that's what gives it the color?
That's what gives it the color.
Okay.
Yep, it's the thing that's in curry powder. So all curries, the different curry blends will have turmeric in it. So it's kind of an Indian spice.
What good things is this
I was
doing
going to say,
for
why
us
should
right
I be
now?
drinking this?
Lots of good reasons. The turmeric is anti-inflammatory. That's the thing that it's most known for.
We need about a gallon of this then, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Cayenne is helpful in clearing nasal passages. The pepper is believed to make all of the ingredients that are in there, it kind of drives it more into the tissues so that it works a little bit better. So these are some of the holistic, and ginger is also anti-inflammatory. That's some of the holistic reasons. The other reason is it just tastes good.
It really does.
Good.
Yep,
Yeah,
and it's
really good.
satisfying.
It's like almost like a dessert that you're drinking.
Yep, exactly. And you're drinking it warmed. You can have it cool. You can put ice and a banana in it and make it into a smoothie. It's just really wonderful.
Oh man, that's
That's a good idea.
So let's turn our attentions to our spice cupboard. One of the things that I find that people do most frequently, that it's kind of the thing that they could do, the one change that they could make to make their food more satisfying is to realize that spices need to be replaced. I go into people's kitchens sometimes and I look in their spice cupboard and I see, because I used to be in the advertising business, advertisements or packaging for spices that were discontinued 5 or 10 years ago.
Oh, well,
yeah.
That's a bad thing. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we update our spices really frequently. That's the most important thing.
How frequently?
It depends on the spice and it depends on the cut of the spice, but I would say we're talking months, not years. And the way that you can tell on a typical spice container, on the very bottom, and I don't know if we'll be able to get it, but if you look on the bottom of this particular brand, for example, it'll have a best buy date. On other brands, it might be other places on the container, but it will tell you.
No idea.
Yes, it tells you. But the other way that you can tell is sensory. If it's faded, if it doesn't smell good, if you put your finger in there and taste it and it doesn't have a taste, it's time to get rid of it.
It's no good.
Yeah, it is bland, then you know something's wrong.
It's faded. And here's the thing, you can make your spices last longer if you store them properly. And improperly is those cute little wonderful racks that you hang on your wall that are clear and they look really nice in the kitchen, but they're death to your spices because the enemies to spices are the same things that are enemies to oil and other food: air, heat, and light.
Okay.
So we want it to be in an airtight container, we want it to be in a cool, dark place, and we don't want light blowing in on it.
Okay.
So I keep my spices in the cupboard, and actually, to tell you the truth, these are my spices, and I took the little rack out of my cupboard and brought them in here. This is really how it looks in my kitchen.
It looks nice.
Yeah, thanks.
Now you've brought, I'm looking at the back row because those things have really changed my whole life. And you've got the Himalayan salt, first of all, which is so much better for you than table salt.
Right.
But the smoked salts,
Yes.
Lou, are so good.
Yes,
You've
there's-
got to try
What
it.
do you put
Himalayan.
them on?
Here's the
Anything you want.
This is a smoked right here. You'll like that. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I brought, this would be a typical salt. Most people will, if you have the blue container, it's time to get rid of that. The
Right,
brown,
big old, yeah, the
we'll get rid of that.
yeah.
This would be one that, like a nice starter salt. If you're a little bit of a gourmand and want to try to ramp up your spices, a good place to start is salt. So we've got all different kinds here, and as you alluded to, there's smoke. There's all different flavor
I'm going to
profiles.
grab this other one here in a second. What's red? Here you go. Who's got the camera here? What's red salt?
Red has a little bit of like a clay matter into it. They all taste differently. If we tasted them, we could be here all day and just and talk about what this would be good in and what that would be good in.
You have clay in your salt, and it's good?
Yeah, it's nutrients. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Are there some that are better for cooking or baking? I know you don't bake, but are there some that are better?
It's better for different recipes. So, for example, I wouldn't use a smoked salt making cinnamon rolls.
Right.
But I would use, this one would probably be my all-purpose go-to, the pink Himalayan salt. But the black salts typically have more of a kind of a sulfury taste to me. Ooh. It's all a personal preference and personal things. And you'll find sometimes with a more pronounced salt, you need less. So experiment, play around. It's an inexpensive way. Salt doesn't go bad real fast. So it's an inexpensive way to really play with different things. Let's talk about some of the other spices and things that we can do.
Okay.
You bet. Cinnamon is one of the ones that people use quite frequently.
Right.
Did you know there's all different kinds of cinnamon?
No.
Yeah, I brought just a few with me here today. Starting here on my far right is a Vietnamese cinnamon, and then we'll have, and I'll let you take a look at that. And then there's this one just says simply cinnamon. It's cinnamon sticks. This one says Ceylon cinnamon. You might want to smell that one. Smell the difference between that and a Vietnamese. Huge difference.
Okay, that has more of doesn't have really a cinnamon. It has some other type of smell to it.
To me, it smells a little bit floral, like a little flowery.
I was going to say more flowery.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a more
This
subtle.
smells like cinnamon. This is cinnamon.
That smells like what you're used to putting on cinnamon toast, for example.
Right.
So using the two different ones in different recipes will give you a different yield, different result.
Hey.
And the same thing with garlics. So, for example, we've got different ways that garlic is presented. Regular garlic, it just says, this one says garlic granules. This
out of the way here.
says garlic powder, and then we've got garlic flakes. Completely different use for completely different recipes. Don't think you can just change them up and end up with the same result. You can't. But it's good to play and it's good to experiment. I personally don't use garlic salt. If I want garlic salt, I'll use garlic powder and salt.
Okay.
There's a ton of things to know. And the last thing I want to tell you before we run out of time, because this is exciting. Buying spices sometimes is intimidating to people because you can spend $5 a container, and if you need 3 new spices for a recipe, you could be looking at a lot of money.
Right.
There's a way around that. You can buy in bulk. And many brands, this one in particular, I love this brand because it's Iowa. This is manufactured in Norway, Iowa. It's Frontier. I love this.
Okay.
You can buy in bulk, and this is what it looks like when you buy it. When you go into the store, there'll be a little label,
Okay.
a plastic bag. They'll often give you a scoop, or you can just pour it into the bag. You write down the PLU, which is located on the very top of the label. It'll tell you the price per ounce.
Okay.
And the PLU, which is 4 digits. You bring that up to the register, pay for it. You can buy as little as a quarter of a teaspoon, or you can buy a pound.
Just what you need.
Just
Okay.
what you need.
And where do they have this product?
They have these, it's great because it's become mainstream. The natural food stores like Campbell's will always carry those in the local market, but Hy-Vee carries them. They're really easy to find. It's great.
There you go. Perfect.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah, because
stuff,
you can
Sheree,
spend a lot
as
of money
always.
on spices.
You can, but there's so much to know. I mean, and this is, look what we can do to our food.
Right.
And you've only covered a few spices. So,
Yeah.
All right.
Wonderful.
And the new season coming up?
New season's coming up. I'm so excited. Get ready.
Great. Thank you so much.